Welcome back to Success with Steven. My name is Steven Smith. On this channel, we discuss all things financial literacy. Recently, I updated 2 videos. The first video was a step-by-step instructional guide to structure your business credit profile. And in the second video, I provided Tier 1 Net 30 accounts and a few other no PG EIN only accounts that you can use to establish a business credit score. So in today's video, we're going to discuss some brand new Tier 2 accounts that you can utilize to further establish your business credit profile. And once again, we'll be discussing the 4 business credit tiers that you can use to establish your business. Understanding how each of these tiers work can help you find the right financing to meet your needs while you're building business credit. And if you stick with me until the end of the video, I'll provide you with 5 no PG EIN only business cards. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Let's begin with a recap of Tier 1 accounts. Tier 1 credit, commonly referred to as basic trade credit, is the most reliable and accessible type of business financing. You generally don't need an established business credit history or a high personal FICO score to get approved for accounts from vendors at this level. And generally, in most cases, you typically don't need to provide a personal guarantee whatsoever. That means most Tier 1 business credit vendors can't come after your personal assets if your company defaults, making trade credit the least risky form of business financing. As a result, Tier 1 credit accounts are a great way to build your business credit from scratch. They can help you establish a handful of initial trade lines with each major business credit bureau, as well as lay down the foundation for credit with more essential financing in the future. Conveniently, Tier 1 business vendors are often supply stores that sell practical items for a small business owner that's trying to get off the ground. However, Tier 1 credit accounts are often allowances for longer repayment terms, frequently no more than net 30, which means they must be repaid in 30 days, and that's also the reason why most people refer to these accounts as net 30s. As a result, you won't incur interest with basic trade lines as long as you pay them by the required due date, but you won't be able to finance anything for very long either. Next, let's discuss the typical credit profile that you need for a Tier 1 credit account. Tier 1 credit accounts have the least demanding eligibility requirements, and you should be able to qualify for some of them without any previous business credit history. And that's the reason why we want to start here. You can also qualify even if you have bad personal credit. However, you do need to meet the following requirements. You need to operate a business that's in the United States. You need to have an IRS issued tax ID, that is your federal EIN number. You also need to have a Dun & Bradstreet issued DUNS number, and you should be established for at least 30 days. However, there are a few that we've discussed where you can actually start with them prior to 30 days. If you're not familiar, then refer back to my video where I talk about building business credit in 30 days. Now, you should have no derogatory business reporting or delinquencies, as this is a brand new business, and the applicant must be an authorized officer of the organization. That said, the requirements for basic trade credit can vary between vendors. For example, a majority of the Tier 1 accounts that I mentioned in my How to Build Business Credit Within 30 Days video, again, they did not require you to be established for 30 days. And some may require that you have other Tier 1 accounts before approving you. So as a result, you may have to shop around to get your first trade line. Tier 2 business credit is also known as advanced trade credit. Though it's still a form of vendor financing, it gives small business owners access to higher lines of credit and longer repayment terms than basic trade credit. If you qualify, you'll receive a dedicated card attached to your credit line, and the size will depend on your business qualifications. Advanced trade credit accounts also help you round out your business credit report before you transition into more traditional business financing, like installment loans from financial institutions. Because these are harder to qualify for and involve larger sums of money, they may look better as trade lines on your business credit report. As a result, you should think about applying for them as soon as you're confident in your chances of qualifying. Now, the typical credit profile that you need for Tier 2 credit accounts will be a little different than Tier 1. Tier 2 business credit vendors have more restrictive qualification requirements than Tier 1 providers. To get advanced trade credit accounts, you normally need between 3 to 5 Tier 1 accounts with positive payment histories. Now, you may also need to sign a personal guarantee, but that's not usually the case. Many Tier 2 accounts also may require 2 years of operating history. Let's briefly brush over Tier 3 and Tier 4 accounts. Now, when you reach the 3rd credit tier, you leave trade credit behind and you enter the world of financial trade lines. In contrast with vendor trade lines, these accounts come from organizations that specialize in offering financing, like banks and credit unions. To qualify for Tier 3 accounts, you should aim to have a solid business credit history with a dozen or so Tier 1 and Tier 2 trade credit accounts accounts in each business credit report. You should also have good business credit scores and a track record of making timely monthly payments. While Tier 3 accounts are significantly more challenging to qualify for than the business trade lines in the previous tiers, they usually are well worth the effort. They're the best way to secure large amounts of flexible capital that you can use to grow your business. For example, you can get a small business administration and SBA loan for up to $5 million and use the proceeds for a variety of purposes, including acquiring property, improving real estate, or just your own working capital. Tier 4 business funding is very different from the tiers that we've discussed previously, and it refers to an arrangement in which you raise capital from investors, such as venture capitalists or angel investors, rather than having a credit arrangement where you borrow from a vendor or a traditional lender. Notably, these investors usually prefer equity financing arrangements which require you to give up partial ownership of your company. For example, it might involve selling 20% of your corporation's outstanding shares of common stock. Equity is generally more expensive than debt in the long run, but doesn't come with fixed monthly payments. So as a result, it can be an attractive option for businesses that have already taken on significant amounts of debt and they can't afford to borrow more. In addition, these investors can bring much more than capital to the table. They're often experts at scaling the type of companies they invest in and can offer invaluable guidance. They are also literally invested in your success, so it is in their best interest to help you as much as possible. Good business credit scores certainly won't hurt your chances of convincing these investors to work with you, but it's usually not their primary concern. They're typically more interested in the startups that have very high growth potential and can provide lucrative returns. Alright, so next I'm going to share 5 Tier 2 accounts that will help you actually build your business credit, and anyone can qualify for these. However, there will be some stipulations that I do want to go over. First, let's start with the 7-Eleven Commercial Fleet MasterCard. Now, this is ideal for businesses that want to fuel exclusively at 7-Eleven or Speedway stations. With this card, a business can save up to 7 cents per gallon for the first 6 months and continue to save 5 cents per gallon every time they fill up at participating locations. There are no setup fees or annual fees or card fees, which does make this a low-cost solution for small business owners. Fleet cards are often a great stepping stone in the business credit building journey. Some of these are more easily accessible in the early stages of building business credit, and I was approved for a $4,000 credit limit with a semi-monthly repayment term and no personal guarantee. However, I do need to point out, I've talked about this before, a few people were actually approved with $4,000 or more, but you need to put that your business is older than 2 years, then the no PG option will become available. So there is a link down below. You can click on it and you can fill out the application. And once again, if it asks you for a personal guarantee, go back and change your business to being 2 years prior to today. If you do so, the personal guarantee option should go away and you can still be approved. This card should report to Experian Business as well as Dun & Bradstreet, according to the rep that I spoke with. However, things can change, so just keep that in mind. And again, if you want any more details about this card, there is a link down in the description where you can apply. If you are approved, please leave a comment below with your approval amount. I would love to hear from you. Next, we have the Mudflap Fuel Card, and this account includes a plastic card for you and any authorized user that you would like to add. What makes Mudflap interesting is that it's not just a traditional fuel card, it's also built around convenience, savings, there's an app functionality, and business management tools. Now, this is a charge card, meaning that as soon as you make a transaction, it will deduct from your bank account. And this card can be used for gasoline anywhere Visa cards are accepted. This card also reports to Experian Business, Dun & Bradstreet, and Equifax Business, and that's going to be through the SBFE. And that is the Small Business Financial Exchange. Now, I did apply for this card and I was approved for a $5,000 credit limit with no PG. And just like the previous option, things can change. If you see a personal guarantee option come up, make sure that you put that your business is at least 2 years old. I also included a link in the description as well if you want to check this one out. Next, we have the JCPenney commercial account. Now, this includes a plastic card for you and any person that's included on this account, and they can make a purchase in store or on jcp.com. This card will come with net 30 terms and it's backed by Synchrony Bank, and this card also reports to Experian Business and Dun & Bradstreet. I did apply for this card and I was approved for a $4,000 credit limit with net 30 terms and no personal guarantee. And once again, like the previous options on this list, if you fill out the application and you do see a personal guarantee section, you need to make sure that you put that your business is older than 2 years. That way the no PG option will become available for you. And once again, I did include a link in the description. Let me know if you get approved for this one as well. If you run a business in construction, renovation, property management, or even landscaping, then you'll probably get a lot of use out of this next option, and that's going to be the Lowe's commercial account or business card. Now, this is a solid option for businesses that frequently purchase items from Lowe's, offering a 5% discount on purchases. It also includes net 60 terms, which can be helpful for managing cash flow, and it includes benefits like discounted delivery and bulk rate pricing. This tier 2 account reports to Experian Business as well as Dun & Bradstreet, and just like the other ones, you want to make sure to put that your business is 2 years old. That way the no PG option becomes available. And last on our list, we have the AtoB Flex. Now, this one is different than the original AtoB prepaid card for tier 1. This one is a weekly bill credit line for fuel and vehicle related purchases. Fleets are approved based on weekly fuel and maintenance spend, and that enables drivers to use the card with flexible repayment terms after your billing cycle closes. This card supports MasterCard acceptance everywhere. You also get deep fuel discounts at partner stations and advanced fraud and spend controls. Onboarding requires approval, and you'll receive a monthly statement that must be paid in full under your credit terms. Now, depending on the time that you're watching this video, I've seen things change. There will be a fee for this card. If you want to see the most updated cost, check the AtoB website. This is a tier 2 account and it does report to Experian Business. Now, I was approved for a $5,000 credit limit. However, if you're starting off, it might only be $500, and sometimes, depending on when you ask, they may want a deposit for a percentage of that line, so just be aware of that. And once again, there is a link in the description if you would like to apply for this particular card. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate that. If you want more information about EIN only, let's say tier 3 or tier 4 accounts, then put tier 3 or tier 4 in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to make an updated video on that as well. Or if you just would like more EIN only related content when it comes to business credit, then just drop EIN only in the comments below and I'll definitely make that. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and you guys have a wonderful day.